God.
So, Julie, is that enough of a look?
They're looking pretty good tonight.
Do you need to see the left one too, or is just the right one okay?
I like to see both.
Okay, well, all right. Are we good?
There you go. Yes. Okay.
Aaron, are we rolling?
You were totally
Oh, my God.
Oh, shit.
I take what I can get these days, you guys.
I'm sorry about that. You know, I never like when people have to overhear Julie looking at my boobs, but, you know, time is money.
Why doesn't anyone who listen to us just kind of imagine that I'm continually looking at her boobs?
Well, it's understandable. My doctor last week told me they are perfectly symmetrical. That's a real thing that happened to me.
Whoa, real quote?
No, not really.
You've got like Paul Newman boobs.
Yeah. Yeah. She was just like, oh, no, those are perfectly symmetrical. And I went, oh.
That's great.
But I've been making jokes about how the left one is the small one for years.
No, man.
No, apparently.
You're like Captain and Captain. I'm Captain and Tennille. It's pretty awesome.
How about I'm, I don't know, Johnson & Johnson? What about CNC Music Factory? Except for it would have to be D&D Music Factory.
Ooh.
Hi, I'm Allison Shoemaker.
I'm Julie Starbird.
And this is Podlander Drunkcast, an Outlander podcast. This is the second episode we're recording today. Somehow we're just on beer number 2.
That's not true. I had 2 beers in the last episode.
Okay, Julie has had, she's on beer number 3. In my defense, my first beer was 9.7 ABV.
That's true.
I'm on beer number 3 too.
Janine's on beer number 3. Yeah. Shut up, Janine. Just kidding. So for this episode, we are talking about season 2, episode 9, Je suis prêt. Oh, French again! Je suis prêt. Je suis prêt.
But I've got questions about that, but it'll come up later.
All right, no, go ahead. Let's talk about the title.
Like, okay, so first of all, I saw it, and we all know that I'm not good with the French pronunciations. And I was like, Je suis priest. Why are we priests? But then when in the episode, when it happens, when you see it, and it's like his brooch, like, I don't know what you call that. The thing that like gathers your kilt at your hip or whatever, manliness with a stag on it. Why is it in French?
Well, so I'm pushing up my imaginary glasses because
was it when he was in school?
No. So that's the Fraser family motto.
But why is it in French?
They have ties to France? I don't fucking know. It's just their motto. And it goes, we first hear it in season 1 in the episode where Claire tries to run away and she trips over Jamie when she's trying to steal a horse. Mm-hmm. So then he has to almost swear allegiance to the Mackenzies, and if he did it wrong, he could have been killed. Remember all that? Mm-hmm. The reason that I remember it so clearly is because it led to my favorite GIF in the history of Outlander GIFs, which I will go ahead and tweet for us, which is Sam Hugh. This is also, by the way, the GIF that I use to convince people who aren't convinced to watch Outlander, because it's just him and his blue eyes are twinkling, and he's just going, Je suis prêt, je suis prêt. And it's hot. It's real hot, but it means I'm ready.
Mm-hmm. But are you ready? No.
I'm totally ready.
I am more than
I know,
ready.
My body is ready.
My mind is ready.
Yep.
I am. My dress is on point.
And I'm not sure.
Like I exfoliated.
I've got my freakum dress on.
I fucking shaved. I know you know what I mean.
Yeah. So in case it's not already clear, we're talking about fucking. In the context of the title, it actually means the Fraser motto, but also getting the army, such as it is, ready for war, and then also specifically Claire getting ready to be in a war again. So it's a title that that does double duty.
That's right. I got to pull it back in. I forgot about Claire's journey in this episode, and I got to keep it real.
Well, it's a really good episode, but that doesn't change the fact
we've got to
save our outburst about sex until the end.
You're right. Well, until the scene when it.
Yeah, which is at the end. That's at the end. No, we could just talk about it first if you want.
No, man. I can save it.
Okay.
They've been saving it. Fucking dick bags.
Yeah.
I love you, Outlander.
I love you too, Outlander. Okay, so this episode starts, well, we get our fun little like tag that's a little hint of what's going to happen in the episode. Julie's very favorite thing. Julie, why don't you tell us about this one?
There is a wheel rut in the ground, and then all of a sudden it flashes back and it's nighttime and you see like a car wheel and you're like, wait a minute, that's World War II. And it's like a Jeep that goes through that. And then you see World War II style future or now boots marching through it. So you know that there's going to be something in this episode that ties back to Claire's experience in World War II.
I'll say this about this episode, especially coming off of recording the last one. This is the second episode in a row that strays quite a bit from the book in some ways. And whereas the last one, I didn't quite dig everything they were doing, even though I totally got why. I loved this one. I loved everything but the lack of boning.
This episode was interesting, although I felt that it did fall into a lot of recognizable tropes.
Oh, like, sure. I mean, there were not two, but three training montages.
The montages, and like, it's like, okay, we get it. But we did learn some stuff, and we also see Jamie like becoming the leader that he needs to be. And then there's the re-entry of a character that we'll talk about in a minute that was very fun, and it was a very manly episode.
It was. But the very first note that I took is there's no boning and we don't get to see Murtagh do a jig.
Nope.
Because his first line is like, I was gonna jig for ya, but then you showed up 5 days later. God, my Scottish accent is really bad. I have a fucking Bachelor of Arts in Theater. I had to take so many fucking dialect classes. God.
Success.
Cheers.
Yeah, success. Cheers. Thank you, Janine.
Yeah.
For rubbing it in.
Yeah, Janine.
But we're excited that Pamplemousse shows up. And then Jamie tells him about the old fox, Lord Love it. And my favorite quote from the scene was Pamplemousse hearing the shit about Lord Lovett and going, that's the weasel I can will. I'm like, you know what? I completely understand what you meant, sir.
You know what I loved about that scene? Like, yeah, Murtagh was in the last episode at the very beginning, and he had his, I can't believe I'm a farmer.
Once again, look, there it is.
Pamplemousse.
Exclamation
Bless
points.
him.
I'm just like,
We
every
just
time
love
he
the
shows up.
Pamplemousse.
Every
And,
time he shows up, I'm like,
whenever
yes.
he's on screen, I'm like, no, Murtagh's my favorite character. And then Jenny's on screen, I'm like, no, Jenny's my favorite character. And then Master Ramon's on screen, I'm like, no, Master Ramon's my favorite character. And then Sam Huon and Catch Ramon,
and I'm like, just fucking bone.
Yeah, and then they have sex, and I'm like, what?
Are they my favorites? No.
Yeah. Anyway, Murtagh looks so happy to be outside and wearing a kilt. Mm-hmm. He likes a healthy wind around his privates.
Who wouldn't? I've been trying to get Neil to wear a skirt for years, and he just won't do it.
Oh, but he's got such nice legs.
He does have the good legs. He has great calves, but he's like, why would I wear a skirt? And I'm like, because it's most comfortably. I don't know.
Oh, Neil could totally pull off a kilt.
Actually, he really could.
Yeah, he could. He's got great calves. Like, he can really rock that down below. But he's like,
a couple of years ago, well, actually many years ago at this point, Neil decided that he needed to start lifting weights so that in the event of an apocalypse, he could carry Julie's unconscious body for miles. So now he lifts weights very seriously.
And
yeah.
Neil becomes more impressive to me every time.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta tell you this,
owns
though.
a onesie. I'm sorry, are they called a onesie? Singlet. Which is like a onesie.
But for weightlifting.
Dudes.
But for big dudes. No, I don't.
Like, imagine a romper, but you can see balls.
I just don't know if the goal of carrying me for 2 miles really exists anymore because I keep getting fatter. So I don't know if that exists anymore. He'd probably be able to carry. He used to run around the neighborhood with me on his back just to see if he could.
Did he really? Mm-hmm. Oh God, I wish I'd seen that.
It's hilarious.
I'll just be out with the popcorn.
But anyway, he would look good in a kilt.
He would look really good in a kilt.
Pamplemousse looks great in a kilt.
Yeah.
I'm so glad these guys are back in kilts.
And like, you know what? We talk a lot of what's the opposite of shit? We talk a lot of
glitter.
Hot shit. We talk a lot of glitter. No, that reminds me of Sparkle Pockets. We talk a lot of
Diamonds.
Diamonds. No, there's got
sparkle.
What's the opposite of piss? I don't know.
We talk
We talk a lot of dick.
We talk a lot of shiny.
We talk a lot of shiny. We say a lot of good things.
We talk a lot of chrome.
We talk a lot of chrome about pamplemousse. But like in all seriousness, Duncan Lacroix is just literally he's just
joy.
wonderful.
He's a joy.
He's so good in every scene. He's reliably one of the funniest people on the show, but all of his heavy shit always hits too. Like he's just really good.
I'm just looking at pictures of him right now. Like the entire thing we're talking about, I'm just cycling through all his pictures on IMDb. He is stunning.
Yeah,
he's just a good dude.
Just Google Murtagh GIFs and see what comes up.
Ooh, doing it.
Great, thanks, Janine.
So we're
anyway.
out on the warpath, and so they have to train all these scrubs.
They have this they don't want no scrubs. They have they have this lovely reunion scene though where Claire shows up and she has a kilt like belted around her waist and flung over her shoulder. She's just she looks
very
like
happy.
straight up ready to Betsy Ross some shit. Like she just looks great. And Jamie looks real Scottish, and Murtagh's just beaming, and they're all getting ready to train these dudes. And Fergus comes out and he's like, "Me lady, me no." And there's a
I got
gif.
one. I love it because describe for your listeners.
I have some business with your maid to finish.
Which I love
That
because
was in
like
France.
even under his beard, you could see him smirk and then go serious again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the guy's great,
So
really
I'm
good.
sorry.
I'm gonna go ahead and do a saved Google search result for Murtagh gifs. I need to remember to do that. Anyway,
My apologies, I derailed you.
Oh, it's all good.
always for
we're out.
Anytime it's Murtagh.
We're out on the training fields in the Highlands, and
We're
we
skipping
realize
the thing. We're skipping
Yeah?
the thing. Yep. So before they start training, Claire shows up and Jamie. They have their lovely reunion, and then Claire turns around, and who's there? But Fergus too. But two of the four characters from Outlander I would most like to see have a spinoff. Rupert and Angus.
Here they come.
In case you're confused, Rupert is the one that always gets fat jokes told about him.
And
Angus is the
is
one
the-
with the disgusting feet.
And the enormous head.
Yeah. And he's constantly going like, oh, we both just did Jon Stewart's impression of George Bush.
But then we find out that Willie got killed.
No, he didn't. He got married.
I thought he got.
No, that was the whole joke. That was the whole joke. They're like, where's Willie? And they're both like, and and Claire's all like, oh no. And she grabs Jamie, and they're all standing there looking terrified. And Rupert goes, he got married.
Oh, no, man. I wasn't listening at that point.
He got married
guess.
to an Irish girl and sailed across the sea with her to America. I'm assuming that actor got another gig because that character is definitely still around in the second book.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Who's the actor? Or what was the character name?
Willie.
Willie.
Look at that.
So first they reunite with Rupert and Angus, and then Fergus runs out and is like, "Me laddie, me love, I swapped with you." And they're like, "Oh, Fergus, did you have a nice time with Murtagh?" And he goes, "No, it was horrible. He had me mend his socks and bring him food." And Murtagh's like, "What? I was teaching him what it's like to live in
Be
Scotland."
on the road.
Yeah.
Right, whatever.
And he's like, "Oh no, it was so dreadful. I wish I was back with the prostitutes."
And then all of a sudden, duh, duh, duh. Da, 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 da,
Do you sense something?
Oh.
What do you sense? I sense something. Gilf, 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 gilf.
And then there he is.
Gilf, gilf.
And
in
we're
all
all
of his
like-
glory.
And we're like, oh my God, please be hot for me right now.
We haven't talked about Gilf yet because he hasn't been in this season yet.
And this is Grant?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Graham McTavish.
Graham McTavish is a GILF. For those of you who don't know what that means.
Everybody knows what that means.
Well, MILF is the term that everybody knows,
Well,
which
and
is
also
mom, I like
DILF.
to fuck, and DILF. That's a little bit less popular, but there are girls who say DILF. Dad, I'd like to fuck. Camille Cetina, hey, how are you? And then GILF. Granddad. I'd like to fuck.
Oh, and I really would.
Graham McTavish, why are you so hot?
Jesus, he's really like,
Yep. Oh, Janine's going to show us a little.
yes.
See, look at him. Look how tall he is. I would
Yes.
climb that silver tree.
Oh, I would. I would. And it would not bend in the wind.
He's like a birch and like silvery
He's
and
very impressive.
He's, God,
He's very hot.
We haven't even gotten to the scene when he rips off his shirt, goes running down a hill with black makeup on his face, screaming like a banshee.
We'll get there.
But, so first of all, it should also, as always, just because, I'm a lady, I know what it's like to be frustrated when people of my gender are objectified. So just like saying, by the way, Duncan Lacroix is a really good actor. Graham McTavish is a wonderful performer, and he does a great job as Dougal, but I would also just annihilate him.
It's true.
I would go full Claire Randall on his ass.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. I'd be like, are you a virgin? And he'd be like, bitch, no.
Hell no, I'm 70 years old.
How old is he really, Janine?
He's got to be like 55 or 60.
Born in January 3rd, 1961. Which is actually not that old.
50, 60.
What? He is perfectly aged. He's
anyway,
like a fine
he is a
Scottish
fine
wine.
fucking Scotch. He is
a
an
finely
aged
aged
Scotch.
He's a finely aged Scotch.
There's some peat on that and
Oh.
some smoke.
Yep.
And I'm just going to drink it by the fireplace by myself.
Yep. No ice in that, and no chaser.
Hell no.
No, you're just gonna let it.
So he
roll
shows
with
up
the
and we're
tongue.
like,
Yep. And he says some things, and I don't remember what they are.
he wants to leave. He wants to go right away. He's like, let's get all these guys that you have together and go fight. And Jamie's like, nah. We need to train these assholes. They're not ready for what the British Army has to give us. And then we start the first of the training montages.
Yeah. So a couple of things in there. First of all, I just, like in this sort of opening collection of scenes, I just love anytime that we get Claire and Murtagh and Jamie together, because it's like, you know how all the youths say squad goals? That's like the whole time I'm like, oh my God, I just want that in my life. I want that. I want to really like walking through the Highlands being like, we so good. We're so cool. Everybody wants to sit with the cool kids, and it's us, and there's a healthy breeze around our private. So there's that. They're quite the power trio. Also, I noticed you were speaking in the last episode about underscoring. I noticed the music more in this episode than in any episode since the one in season 1 where they had the bard and they were listening to all the concerts and in Casalia.
Right. But when she heard the song about the time travel.
Right. And there were at least 2 songs from that episode, I think, sung by the same guy that were in this one. And I want to go back and find out what this, because Jamie narrates all the songs for her in that episode. So I think we know what they all mean. And they're obviously not the fairy ones.
Well, it's about the woman traveling back in time, which she does do in this episode, which we're about to get to.
But there were others that was about grief and other things.
But that's also what happens to her, right?
Totally. Yeah. But there's also, right at the beginning, there's that cool, dudes singing the theme song, but without words, that sounds kind of like a marching theme. It's a cappella. So for just a second, I'd like to talk about Bear McCreary, the composer for Outlander, who's done a lot of TV scoring. He does The Walking Dead. He did Battlestar Galactica. He also does movies. He did, most recently, I think, 10 Cloverfield Lane.
He does S.H.I.E.L.D. He does... he did do a movie.
Yeah. He's amazing. He's very, very good. He's also got a great blog where he writes about all kinds of things that he's working on, and specifically about Outlander. That's great, Bear McCreary. And I think that all of the music in Outlander is really good, but this episode in particular, I was like, God, I'm feeling some feelings.
That's so interesting. I don't remember the music at all.
Oh, it was like every scene had music, and not just the training montages.
I only remember montages because they're montages, but I don't remember the music. All I remember from this episode is the flashing back and forth that Claire has,
which obviously really good. I also would like to say that just in the course of when Dougal comes in, I wrote sick burn Dougal, and then sick burn Claire, and then I will accept a Fergus and Murtagh spinoff or a Rupert and Angus spinoff, and then sick burn Murtagh, and then dick measuring contest, and then sick burn Murtagh in capital letters. And the only one that I actually remember is when Dougal is like, "Oh, Jamie, you look good, especially with all the bad shit that happened to you," and then he just walks away.
All I have is that they start the training and that Murtagh is in charge of it. He's like the drill sergeant.
Yeah.
And I started thinking about, is it Full Metal Jacket? Steers and Queers.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was that guy. He was like, what's wrong with you? Yeah, idiots. Like screaming. And so we have all that. And then we have like the music, the bagpiping music of them like training, trying to learn. And this is like the first, as Allison said, of like 3 of these in this episode. It's a very manly, montagey, rocky.
Well, because first it's like they can't even get into lines. That's the first training montage. In the second, like literally, Murtagh's like, okay, get in 2 lines. No, two lines. No, seriously, like a line here and a line here. No, like a line. Do you know what a line is? And that's not an exaggeration. That's actually what happens, Jenny. He's like, no, here, no. Come on. And the dudes are like, oh.
But this is also when Claire is watching all this happen, and then she looks over and she sees Fergus playing field hockey with another young guy who's out there. And this is the first time she flashes back, and she flashes back to one of her assignments in World War II where she is with American GIs and they are playing baseball. So she flashes back between this hockey game, the field hockey game that she's seeing in Scotland, and then she flashes back to the American base.
And I loved all of this stuff. Like, this to me is what made the episode work. And none of it is in the book. Mm-hmm. None of it. All of that, like, we know she's a nurse, obviously, but we're jumping ahead a little bit, but her accident and these American privates and the PTSD, all of it, none of it's in the book. And I thought it was just wonderful.
It was
really,
well
really good writing. Mm-hmm. I think it's Matt Roberts wrote this one.
I got it. Matthew Roberts.
Yeah, and it was and we get the origin, basically, of Jesus H. Roosevelt Christ, which also isn't in the books. That she gets that from one of the American privates, and they have like a funny conversation about American food versus British food, where he's like, what's this supposed to be? Black pudding. Oh, what's black pudding? Well, it's basically like sausage. Not totally true.
Isn't it just like blood sausage? Like blood mixed with oats and shit?
I think that's right, yeah.
British food.
Yeah.
But that also, I needed to be noted that one of the privates in that scene is from Texarkana, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Is that Patty Wallace? There's one guy on IMDb who's listed as Scruffy GI.
No. It's Wallace. Caleb Lucas, I believe his name is.
Maybe.
Caleb.
And because he's the one that knows George Bernard Shaw, remember? Because he's got this great Southern accent, and he's like, oh, well.
He sounds a lot like Julie when she's had, how many beers have you had, Julie?
5.
Yeah. It sounds a lot like Julie when she's had 5 beers.
Maybe more like 6.
Tyler Collins is the name of that actor.
Tyler Collins, cheers to you.
Tyler Collins surely sounds like somebody I went to fucking high school with, so all right.
Yeah, good job. So we spend a lot of the episode, basically whenever Jamie is not having his like #troubles with Dougal, and #inspirational speeches, and then we'll get to the like really great
Henry
scene
the
at the
Fifth
end
speech.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, marching is stupid, except for when you die, basically, is the gist of the speech. Anyway, but most of the rest of the episode is Claire just flashing to her experience in World War II. And it was so interesting to me to watch a television show treat a woman like a veteran, because she is. She's a fucking veteran, you know? And I was thinking, like, anytime I've ever seen anything with women and PTSD, it's rape related. Mm-hmm. Anytime or maybe like loss of a child, right?
But this was actual combat.
Like, yeah. And like, of course, they don't have words for that. Like, she wasn't going to be like, and then I realized I was suffering PTSD, because that was not, it was just like losing your fucking nuts.
She does talk about compartmentalizing later, though, in a really cool monologue.
Door. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it was just, newsflash, in case you haven't noticed, Katrina Katrina Balfe is really wonderful. She's just great. And it's too bad. No, I guess good. If she didn't already have a fucking Emmy episode, then this would have been a great one for her too. But, there was faith. So, anyway, so that's like a huge part of the bulk of the episode, and it's a little bit hard to recap because it's just she sees playing field hockey and it becomes baseball, or there's this very disorienting scene where she walks into a tent and Angus is talking about how his feet are growing something, and she gets unreasonably angry because she's
that
connecting
comes way later.
Right. No, I know, but I'm
it's
kind
all
of
the
like,
same.
yeah. So it's hard to recap, right? So, like, she gets unreasonably angry at Angus because of his feet, and they're obviously all really confused, and she can't really explain what's happening to her, and she's connecting it with a speech that she had to give a bunch of GIs, and one of them was, like, seemed like maybe he was checking her out, but at the very least he was spacing out and not paying attention, and then all of a sudden she flashes back to Scotland, and it's Rupert sitting next to that private, and it was very disorienting. Who directed this one, Janine?
Deanna Gabaldon?
Nope, that's the author.
Oh, Jesus. Who directed it? Oh, there's Philip John. Pardon me.
Philip John. Great fucking job. Or like when she passes out at the end, and that's when you see the soldier trying to wake her up when she's plugging her ears. God, that was so upsetting. And you hear him speak in Jamie's voice in Gaelic. God, it was really like...
So basically what's happening through the entire episode is Jamie is training all these scrubs, and Claire is reliving her experience in World War II by watching all these young men who are not prepared for actual battle go through training. So she keeps flashing back and forth between Scotland and her experience in World War II. There's the Je suis Prest comes up here. He's got this brooch. What is it called?
The kilt pin.
Kilt pin.
That's what it's called.
His kilt pin says Je suis Prest, and it's got like I thought it was priest because I don't know how to pronounce this shit. And then there's like a stag on it, which we know is something like a magical thing in the episode, in the opener. That's obviously something that has to do with it. I'm ready. And then he's still trying to train these guys, and he goes out and tries to import to them, this war isn't the way you think it's going to be. Here's how they come for you, and I'm going to explain it to you. And he tries to like break it down. Like, here's how it's going to work. I need you all to learn these drills because this is how war works now.
Well, and it's what's going to save your life.
Right.
Like, you're going to be in a group of men who all know exactly what to do in this situation because you all train together and you're a unit. And that way, when they start firing at you, you're not going to go running and fuck each other over.
Right. And then he's really into this, and his guys are really into it. And then here comes fucking
GILF running down the hill with all the... But who cares about anybody else?
No, who gives a shit?
Graham McTavish in a kilt
with the Braveheart like paint.
He's got like Braveheart paint on his face, and he's holding a sword, and he's just screaming, and like he looks good.
And all the scrubs scatter like idiots.
Yeah, and Jamie's like, no, but seriously, get in line. Nope, seriously. And then Dougal is like, no, that's how we fight in Scotland. And Jamie is like,
that's not
can I have a word with you? And then he's like, listen, if you want to, because remember, going back to the last episode, Colin is out of it. So Dougal is here not for the Mackenzies. He's on his own. So he's not in charge, and he's used to being in charge. So he just keeps trying to run the joint, and Jamie keeps being like, no. Jamie keeps being like, nope, nope.
And I'm all like, kiss. Please kiss each other.
Just a little.
Just like maybe there's just a little something where one of you brushes each other and grabs each other and it's manly, and then maybe there's a kiss, but we don't really know what it is. But can I just please see that? Okay.
Yeah. That doesn't happen, but
come on.
But they have a bunch of great scenes together, and those are two great actors really going at it. And then, so Dougal, first of all, gets told like, so if you're going to be here, you're going to follow my orders.
Jamie's way or the highway.
Yeah. And if you don't, then you can leave. And I really want you to be here because I respect you and you're a good fighter and you'd be valuable and all that shit. But if you're not going to listen to me, you got to go. And he's like, okay,
I'm here.
And so then he promptly walks into a tent and attempts to be like, hey, Claire, so why don't you tell Jamie to get his head out of his ass? Because remember how you promised to marry me if he died? Like, that's a good tactic.
Right.
I was like, Dougal, why did you think that was going to help? Why did you think that was going to help? Then Claire just...
has a great she unleashes.
Annihilates him. Like, I want to annihilate him with my thighs. Claire annihilates him with her words.
Yeah.
Just, like...
She ends it with...
narcissism?
Yes, that's right. Narcissus was a god in Roman.
He fell in love with it. He starved because he fell in love with them on reflection.
And then all of a sudden, and then she ends it with, go. If you don't understand what it means, I can tell you, but go fuck yourself. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah, and he's basically like, well, all right then.
And then he actually says, I have been in love with my own reflection. And I understand
I wrote
that.
down the quote. I do love my reflection, but I love Scotland more. And
Scotland
it was
first.
fucking
And it
great.
was hard, man.
It was a great. And
was
there was
gangster.
this beautiful shot in there where Dougal was in the dark and Claire was in the light. I wrote down sick burn Claire, but it was like just really well written scene, and he just sold the hell. I was like, nope, you know what? That is a dude who knows that he's flawed and gets that he's really fucked up. But at the end, he's just the one thing he will not abide is anyone telling him he does not love Scotland.
Right.
It was lovely. It was
And then
great.
there's more manly montage.
Yeah.
They were doing some more training montage. It's montage that happened there.
Then, so Claire
But
has
they're
her
learning,
little,
right? They're picking it up. It's like Rocky.
and the whole time Claire is like obviously distressed, but won't tell anybody what's going on. And Jamie and Murtagh have this little moment where Murtagh's like, you know, if there's something wrong, you should probably just ask her. And Jamie was like, dude, I've been married for like 2 years now. Do you think I didn't ask her?
It's cool. We talk all the time. No, like really.
No, like really, she's not going to tell me.
We talk.
And then she has a panic attack and passes out and wakes up with the scene we already talked about. And then she has...
Angus's foot happens first, though. This is where the Angus foot scene
Oh,
happens.
yeah. No, the Angus foot happens.
Which is, I think, the inciting incident because that...
No, the inciting incident is when she's walking through the yard and they're firing. It's the firing.
Right. She's hearing the guns like pop.
Yeah, because it starts out kind of funny because they're all really shitty at reloading guns. Like, reload! And everyone's like,
I don't know how to do this. I just have a pitchfork. I'm Scottish.
I really have fat fingers.
I'm fat.
Oh, God. I also have fat fingers. I would be really bad at reloading guns, but it's just really funny to watch these dudes be like, now, do I put this in here?
No, you guys, you'd be done already.
But then all of a sudden it's not funny anymore because she freaks out when she hears the gunfire, and this is what leads to her passing out. And she wakes up and has this really incredible speech that in the middle of it, it's literally the only line in the whole episode where I was like, nah. Because she goes, I feel stuck in one place like a dragonfly in amber.
No, I wrote it down too. And I'm like,
You know, that's the name of the second book.
I knew it.
Yeah.
And when I wrote it down, I was like, I bet you $1 million this is the name of one of the fucking books. This is the worst thing I've ever heard.
So the place that the dragonfly and amber, where the book title comes from, right? Do you remember in season 1 when they meet Hugh Monroe, the beggar who had his tongue cut out, who's a friend of Jamie's? Do you remember that?
Yes,
and they
I do.
communicate
Out in the Highlands, yeah.
And one of their like doing it vacations where they're just like off on a hill having
Can
sex.
we go on that vacation right now?
Did you want to see my left boob again? Because
No, because we're getting there. We're getting to the scene.
they are perfectly symmetrical.
We're getting to the scene.
So in that scene, Jamie tells Hugh that he got married, and Hugh says, "Oh, well, I want to give you a gift then," but doesn't say it because he can't speak, but like communicates with Jamie, and he takes out a huge hunk of amber with a dragonfly in it, and he gives it to Claire. And then the second book is called Dragonfly and Amber, presumably because it's about being stuck for reasons that I am not going to go into right now because it's not totally clear based on the way that the season has come out so far. But about
it was
like a creature of motion stuck in place. So, and because all this PTSD stuff is wonderful, but it's not in the book. So I was like, oh, that was so shoehorned in.
It was so outside of everything else that was happening and just stood out in
I
a
wrote,
way.
# Dragonfly and Amber, # no.
To me, it feels like a Jurassic Park plug. I'm just like, oh,
It was
man,
no,
so
it was
awesome.
horrible. It was just
Dino DNA.
it was outside of anything else that was happening. It stood out like a weird ass wrong moment. It just like stood out. It was horrible. And Katrina tried as hard as she could. There was no way to deliver those words without sounding
And
like
it was
an
the only
idiot.
thing in that monologue that wasn't fucking amazing.
Right.
Yeah. That was a real, it feels like we've spent a lot of time on fucking 3 words, but it really stuck out. In an episode I think was pretty great. It just really stuck out.
But it really did. It was like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the result of that episode is that, or of that scene is that Jamie is like, well, listen, she says, I don't think I'm ready to be in a war again. And he says, you don't have to be. I'm going to have whoever the fuck Ross is, one of the guys that gets like 6 lashes. Oh, we skipped that. Who cares? Everybody fucking knows.
Yeah.
Some dudes got whipped.
But we're coming up to the to the real.
Yeah. I'm going to have this other dude and Fergus take you home. And she's like, bitch, no, you're not. I'm not going home to not do anything. I'm not going to go sit at Lallybroch and not be a part of this and not try to make it better and do what I can.
I feel like I could have saved that guy in World War II.
Because then, and she probably couldn't have, but then it's worse than me just being in the ditch, you know?
Right.
Then she's forever in that ditch. It was a great, great monologue. Anyway, and the rest of the episode, gradually she figures out a way to get past it so that she can, do her mythical 20th century healing shit. Anyway, so then, like, abrupt cut to Jamie taking a piss.
Jamie totally just taking a whiz in like a fucking at night in like a stable or something.
It's like,
and then somebody
nice stone wall.
Somebody comes up behind him. Tiny little guy opposed to enormous Jamie trying to slit his throat. And Jamie's like, what? Throws him over his shoulder right into his own pee.
And then breaks his arm.
Yeah, there he is.
It's story.
So it's like a youngin'.
He is.
He's like
a kid.
16. And they drag him into Jamie's like default office, which just looks like
Probably
a place.
Still the stable.
Right. It's just like a place
tent,
where there's a desk.
horse tent,
Something.
wherever we are.
Yeah, a good old fashioned horse tent. So they drag him in, and Jamie is all gearing up to like burn him with the hot side of a knife.
Oh no, he's like, where are you from? And this kid's like, I'm fucking British. And I know that there's bitches coming for you. And Jamie's like, hell no.
And I know that you are the notorious and ruthless and unprincipled Red Jamie.
Red Jamie. Woof.
And he's like, bitch, you don't know me.
Bitch, call myself.
But it's interesting because he's like, oh, okay, now I got to go straight up barbarian. Okay.
That's not his idea first.
Oh, no, it's his idea before Claire comes in because he's like, I'm going to poke you in your broken arm.
That's right. No, that's right. So he pokes him in the broken arm. That's horrible. This kid's not giving it up. Then he's like, I got to get a little bit more rough. And he starts putting his knife in the fire. And you're like, Jamie,
and the kid's
don't
like, you can do
torture
whatever
somebody.
you want. I'm not going to tell you where the troops are. I'm not going to tell you anything.
Jamie, don't do that.
And Claire walks in.
But wait, Jamie's got the knife in the fire, and he's going to put it on his face, and he's being a dick about it. And Claire sees him about to be the dick, and she's like, he can't. That's not in his brain. He can't do that right now. And so she throws herself under the bus, which I guess didn't happen in the book.
Oh, no, it does. It's Jamie's idea in the book.
But it was Claire's idea here.
Basically exactly the same, except for that Jamie, the way that it happens in the book is that Claire is screaming at him to not torture the kid, and Jamie then immediately starts pretending that she's a prisoner. So it's Jamie's idea in the book.
Except here,
it's
was
Claire's
her.
idea. She's like, you Scottish bastard.
You Scottish barbarian.
Barbarian. I rejected your advances before, but if you let this poor boy go, I'll give it up. Or like whatever.
But you know.
And I want to make it clear that then they still didn't have
actually happen.
Anyway, but you can tell that she's like, oh, no, but okay, all right. No,
but
so
Jamie really goes for it.
He really goes for it. He yes ands again. It's just like when she pretended to be a witch. Apparently, the Fraser marriage specialty is role playing. Because he was just like, yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna pretend to assault you. But then you can see Katrina does a great job because you can see on her face that like I'm acting. And then he sort of like throws her against her wall and hikes up her skirt and she's like, whoa, oh, I didn't mean, no, because slow down.
But also she's kind of like, we haven't done it in 3 months.
I think you might be projecting, Julie.
Maybe.
I think that she's mostly like, could you not finger me in front of the men?
Okay, fair. She doesn't want
hikes
her
up her skirt.
He totally goes for it.
Yeah, and he's very convinced. And the dude, like,
he
bless
loses
him,
it.
the kid who
William Gray,
and we'll come back to that in a second. Totally falls for it and is like, nope, all right, you're right, I will tell you. So basically this kid is willing to literally die, but not to see a woman get raped. Which, you know what? Let's give it up for William Gray.
How about you, kid?
Cheers. So, and then he tells him everything and then finds out that Claire is actually his wife.
Right. Oof.
Yeah, it's rough. He's like, oh, we're here and it's here and here. And Jamie says, I'm going to give you your life. You take this kid, you tie him to a tree. a mile from where his friends are so that they'll find him. And the dude's like, no, but seriously, could you just kill me? Because that's going to be really embarrassing. and as he's leaving, he's like, a Grey never forgets his debt. You've given me my life and I take it as a debt of honor. But after I've fulfilled that debt, I'm going to fucking murder you.
And Jamie's like, sweet, whatever.
He's like, all right, well then I hope we don't meet up again. See ya.
Bye. But then he's like, who the fuck was on watch that this kid got past and came in and tried to fucking cut my jugular? Guess who it was?
GILF.
GILF and his dudes.
And part of the reason we skipped over this a little bit, but Dougal tried to recruit, quote unquote. We're led to believe that he probably harassed and harangued people who are not a part of the Fraser clan into volunteering, quote unquote, with their pitchforks and shit. And then Jamie is like, hey, anybody who doesn't want to be here, you can just go. And they're like, okay, see ya. And they all leave. But strangers walked into their camp, so the people who were on watch get 6 lashes each, and then because Dougal brought these dudes in, he's like, great, you and your dudes are on watch now. You're responsible for the security of the camp.
So Dougal and his dudes were on watch when William Grey came in and tried to kill Jamie. So now Dougal...
You think Dougal's about to get whipped, and I'm not.
I don't know why.
Like, I don't have a BDSM thing,
I think
but I was so ready for Dougal to get whipped.
I was ready too.
And then he doesn't.
But I admit, I agree. I was ready to see GILF get whipped. But I think it's because Jamie was like, if I, once again, giving his body up, if I take this shit, Dougal will never, ever, ever give up on me. Like, he'll be my guy.
I think he also knows that, like,
and he's got
that's
to
a
let
way
the guys
to show
see
the
him.
men.
Right.
Let the men
guys
see
him.
that he holds himself accountable too, because the kid says the reason that he finds them is they're unguarded fires. And Jamie didn't say, please make sure the fires are guarded.
That was me.
He was like, no, that's me. So why don't you give me the 6 lashes and then just like 12 more?
So 18 lashes.
And Murtagh gets this little tiny smile on his face.
And I'm sorry that Janine does not know about the past of this, but this is a big thing.
Okay.
Jamie's been whipped a lot.
Jamie's back is just fucking
covered
destroyed.
in scars.
Oh, okay.
Because of a major villain in the show.
If you were with us when we do season 1, there will be an entire episode dedicated to that.
To the makeup of Jamie Fraser's back.
And so Jamie Fraser's like, let's do this. Fucking takes his shirt off, holds the pole, and is just like, fucking do it.
And Murtagh's whipping him, and he's just like, it's just like, whip, no noise.
Nothing.
Whip, no noise.
Silence.
Yeah.
Whip.
Because the dudes
Silence.
earlier were like,
whip.
Oh,
Silence.
Oh, shit. But Jamie,
Whip.
he's like, nope.
Silence.
Add to the list. I
Nothing.
wrote Jamie good list, taking a licking and keeping on ticking.
At the end of this, I want to have a good just list of all the things you said about Jamie.
Yeah.
Just like whipping. Silence.
Into shape. Shape it up.
Get straight.
Go forward. Move ahead. So all that happens. We're gonna come back and talk about William Grey in a second. But then Jamie is like, oh, hey, by the way, when we're done with this, we got some business to take care of. Because there are some Englishmen 3 miles from here.
Now we know where they are, and
so,
now we know that they have cannons.
Yep.
Because William Grey get this shit up.
Yep. So they put on some liquid eyeliner.
They fucking grease paint up like fucking Braveheart. They fucking guerrilla warfare soot their faces.
He goes, it was a commando raid. Is that the right word?
But he's not taking GILF.
Yo, GILF has got to stay on watch duty. And Dougal's like, but, okay.
Because remember, GILF was the first one that was like, this is how Scotsmen fight. And now it's actually happening. And Jamie's like, nah.
See ya. So they go and they steal all of the wheels from the cannons, which I would like to say, they burn in an unguarded fire. Jamie, another 18 lashes.
Can't they see that fire?
Yeah. So they burn all the cannon wheels and they take all the pins that hold the wheels on, and Jamie makes them into like a war necklace for Claire.
It's like a keychain.
He just throws it on her bed, and she's like, "What's this?" And he's like, "That is the bounty of my evening out."
Cotter pins.
Cotter pins. Yeah.
Those are the cotter pins from and she's like, well, but don't they have wheels? He's like, well, if they have wheels, they can't roll. We burn them.
Yeah. No.
And he's all painted And he's obviously got a boner.
Yeah,
And it's just
and
like,
he climbs on top of her.
Here it is.
And he's like giddy from pulling the shit off. And they climb on top of each other. And she's like ready and they're making out. And then he's like, get dressed. She's like, don't you mean
Isn't
like
that the
something
wrong
else? And he's
thing?
like, nope.
We have to leave.
No, we have to leave. And Claire sits up and goes, it basically does this.
And this was the point where Allison and my husband and several friends of ours were playing D&D in the next room, and I was watching the episode, and I screamed out loud. I was like, oh, Lord, hear my prayer. Please let someday doing it happen. Please. Because that was the moment.
What was the thing we were saying when we said, oh, we can't ever talk about Outlander on the train on the way to the podcast?
You're killing me softly, but not so softly. You're killing me, Jamie, but not so softly.
Not so softly.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, he's in his kilt. He's got his face painted. You know he's got a rock-hard boner under there. And
totally.
it's just like...
Yeah. And what's nice, I will say, to me it felt like they were actively trolling us because Claire...
They were fucking with us.
After Jamie leaves, Claire's like, oh my God. But like... My body is ready.
Here.
What?
I was right here.
Oh my God. There's only one benefit to not wearing underwear as a society, and it's that you could have fucked me like right now.
P&B right away.
Nope. All I wrote down was us too, Claire. That's just all I wrote for the whole scene. Us too, Claire.
Us too, God damn it.
So, a couple of little things before we do our scales that I want to talk about. First of all, I found this out thanks to Twitter. But the coat that Jamie is wearing for the majority of the episode...
I did have your coat is bitchin' note.
That was his dad's coat. You can go back and watch that flashback that we talked about in the last episode.
I totally had it. Your coat is bitchin' note.
That is his dad's coat.
His jacket is boss.
Well, it's a great costuming thing because they didn't call it out in any way, but like there were side-by-side photos on the internet, and obviously he just like had his dad's coat, and now that he has to be a leader of men, he's just wearing his dad's coat. I just thought that was fucking great. A couple of things about William Gray. So,
the would-be assassin who got thrown in pee.
You know, from the way that scene is written, anyone who's ever, let's say, watched a television show or a movie or read a book based on the way that scene is written knows that character is going to come back, right? Mm-hmm. If someone says, after this and this and this, I will kill you, and the other guy's like, then I hope we don't ever meet again, then they're going to fucking meet again, right?
Yeah, right.
I think that's what happens. So it will surprise no one that William Gray is coming back. He is one of my very favorite characters in the entire series.
Masque, Monsieur Raymond.
Yes, like a lot. Well, no, he is better. He's better. He's a really great character. I love Raymond, but John Gray is great.
All right.
He also, at one point, gets to meet Benjamin Franklin naked in a hothouse.
I'm not surprised.
That's probably not going to make it on the show.
No.
So that's not a spoiler. Anyway. So that is William Gray, who in the books is John Gray, and I don't totally know why there was an arbitrary name change. And I was on Matt Roberts' Twitter, and he said, like, well, we had to give you a little taste of William Gray, because you've got to meet William Gray from the books. And I'm like, no, but his name is John Gray. I don't know.
They have to know.
What's the deal?
Very
Of
clearly.
course they know.
Yeah.
Of course they know. So there's a reason they changed it, and I'm really curious about that. But I'll be curious to see how they handle the character's return. Anyway, I'm just really excited that the character got introduced, and it's then the fact that that's the way that they meet is hugely important in the story. And he's a great character. He's one of the best characters in Outlander. He's John William Gray in the books, but here he's just William Gray. Lord John. He has his own little series of novellas. It's true. Anyway, so it's time for the scales, Julie.
Okay.
All right, so let's do the costuming. As always, we forgot to say, this episode brought to you with beer that we did not get for free because we just buy our own beer. 3 different beers. No, I guess 2 different beers.
2 different beers this
Start
time.
with this one.
No, wait, I drank this one too.
Oh yeah, okay. Jesus, you guys are way ahead of me.
Man, you guys, I
All
fucking
right,
drink
so,
a beer.
Ballast Point Grunion Pale Ale, the Mustang Brewing Company Route 66 American Lager, Revolution, their Chicago beer, Chicago Pilsner, which is called Pils, and Miller Lite, a fine Pilsner beer. As always. So, yeah, anyway, our scales. As always, these scales are not planned in advance. So when you hear me go, it's because I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do. So costumes, on a scale of... ask your doctor about Exalis or insert a random prescription drug.
Right.
Which means it's just people in shorts riding bikes.
Right. And like khakis and shit.
Yeah. All right. To let's say, well, dangerous liaisons doesn't work because that's French. Plus,
That's
I think
too
we
high.
already used that.
Yeah, we've already used it.
Let's say,
Rob Roy.
well, no, let's go straight Braveheart.
Ah.
Oh, Braveheart. That's pretty good.
Where are we on that scale?
I am going to have to go closer to the Braveheart end. What is a Brigadoon?
Yeah, Brigadoon. It's because there's even some mist.
And they go backwards in time?
Yeah,
and
that's
shit?
great. Yeah, it's straight Brigadoon. All that's missing is some dance numbers.
Brigadoon.
Brigadoon. Okay, great.
Brigadoon / Damn Yankees.
Why Damn Yankees? Oh, okay.
Just because
they're playing baseball and shit.
The time and
Also,
like whatever.
I will say, Claire Randall looks great in a pair of slacks.
Yeah, she does. Brigadoon / League of Their Own.
Oh no, White Christmas.
Ooh,
Gee, I wish I were back in the army. The army. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
You guys are missing them dance to that as well.
Oh my god! All I want in my whole life is for Claire to have a dance number. Dancing cheek to cheek and pants to pants. Yeah. All right. So on the how often you can get up to get a beer scale. Let's say no. We got to do the scale first. We got to do the scale first.
Okay.
So let's say the remake of Miracle on 34th Street
Okay.
to well, since we've already had our friend Janine here reference it to Requiem for a Dream.
Oh God. Well,
Thank you. I just wanted one.
I have to admit that both of those things would make me get up and get beer at any time.
Well,
I
no,
wanted.
but Requiem for a
different
Dream,
reasons,
you
though.
would just want to have like 9 beers.
You just have to have them with you because
You need
yeah.
you need them to get through it.
Right.
yeah, you're out.
And your body's just like not willing to get up off the chair.
I have to say,
All right, then let me change it. What about this Die Hard?
okay,
Oh, yeah.
okay. I have to say, you could probably pause a couple of times in this episode. Not as many times as the last one, but a couple of times.
Yeah,
So-
I think if you really need, I guess I just realized I didn't weigh on the costume scale, but I agree with you. Brigadoon meets Damn Yankees meets White Christmas. Anyway, I think that's true. I think if you wanted to get up in one of the training montages,
Yeah, you
so
could.
like Footloose,
Yes.
you can get up in one of the
Yes.
extended sequences.
or fucking Karate Kid.
Karate Kid.
Anytime there's
Yes.
fucking wax on, wax
Yep,
off,
yep.
get up and go
or
get a beer.
Three Ninjas.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original.
Well, no, except for here's the thing. You can get
Or
up
the
and drink
entire
through
new one.
all of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
It's true.
Hey, I don't ever do like self-plugs, but I currently have a piece on Consequence of Sound that you should check out that's called The Unkind Rewind of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, which is about revisiting a movie that you thought was really fun as a kid, which as it turns out totally blows. Oh, it's really, I loved that movie as a kid and it does not hold up. Like, not at all.
Oh.
Not even a little.
Did you know we worked for Leonardo for a little while at Groupon? One of the guys who was a turtle, he worked at Groupon as like the operations manager for a while. He said he liked my shoes one day. I was really happy.
Did you
I would
say
only work for Donatello.
tubular?
I would only work for Donatello.
Hey, true story, Donatello was my first celebrity crush.
Donatello is the best, though.
He's the smartest.
Because
one.
he's the
He
smart
was
one.
the smart one, which means he knows how to work his way around the central area,
What is in the cartoon
which is
theme
what
song?
I'm trying to get to happen to me in this show.
Michelangelo is a party dude. Leonardo is
Is the
the
leader.
right. But I'm trying to think of the lyrics
Oh, fuck.
Raphael is cool but rude. Michelangelo is a party dude. But what's the one they say about Donatello?
Donatello.
Yeah, you look that up, Janine. Okay, going to the final scale while we're getting this vital Donatello information.
Oh my God.
Okay, so Julie, this episode I can already tell is going to go about 5 minutes long because Julie is about to take us all to church about why there needs to be more boning in Outlander. All right, so Julie, on a scale of, let's say, dead man walking. To what's another Susan Sarandon movie with lots of great boning in it? Oh, I know, Bull Durham.
No.
Oh, Bull Durham.
Bull Durham is great, but also the one where it's her and Catherine Deneuve.
Oh, yeah.
As the vampires. What is the name of the movie? I'll go with Bull Durham.
We'll go with Bull Durham. That movie is fucking hot. Oh, my.
It's not Bull Durham.
No, it's not.
Because look at this.
Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat?
I'm sorry. Here you are. You're asleep in bed in a campsite full of men, but you're totally cool. I don't know why. You're protected. You're in your jammy bed. It's warm. And then all of a sudden, your strapping 6'4" ginger Scotch ass husband shows home from a crazy ass commando raid he just made, and his face is all painted in ash, and it's weird, and he's sweaty, and it's like, let's do this. And then there's no this.
No, instead you have to get on a horse.
This movie is the Equus.
Oh my God! It's because I said horse. Mm-hmm. Oh God. Oh no, no. You know what? Equus is many things, but it is not sexually frustrating.
She doesn't like that. Well, it's frustrating for that kid.
Oh boy. No.
Okay,
How
hold
about
on.
X-Files?
Okay, no. What's
Well,
another
'cause that's like
I know
you're
you got
constantly
the
waiting for them to
don't, but
bone.
like fucking Gillian Anderson, lesbian.
Hey, what about Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries?
Yes.
What about Vanilla Sky in the beginning before he falls off the cliff? Like, that was a big, like, climactic moment, right? Where they're like friends but not doing it.
No, I need it to be a married couple who likes to do it a lot. And then there is the perfect time for them to fucking do it like extra good. And they don't do it.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
All right. I feel that. It's like, it's right there. It's like, there it is.
And then instead they just shoot themselves up.
And instead, it's just like,
And
cut
then,
out.
And then Claire goes, I kind of want to like dock it because yes, I'm frustrated in a way that it's probably the show's exact intent, right? Like I was like, no, but seriously,
can't we just do it? That would have been the best doing it scene forever.
Birds do it, bees do it.
Why can't we do it?
Isn't it animated fleas? Isn't that the next lyric? Even animated fleas do it.
Is that true?
Educated fleas.
Fleas.
But I found the line for Donatello.
What is it?
So Splinter taught them to be ninja teens. He's a radical rat. Leonardo leads. Donatello does machines.
Oh yeah, Donatello.
That's a fact, Jack.
Yeah, Donatello does machines.
That is a little sexual.
Yeah, he gets lots of machine head. Now, Raphael is cool but rude. Michelangelo is a party dude.
Yeah.
Neither one of those are as interesting as Donatello does machines.
Yeah.
That's a fact, Jack. Go ninja, go.
Vanilla Ice.
So it's frustrating. It's really frustrating, and I do not watch the show because of the sex. But the reason that I have convinced so many people to watch the show is 100% because of the sex.
That's what you've been selling me on.
Oh yeah, Janine. So the funniest thing about Janine and his presence here on for the people who just started listening, we call Aaron Janine because he's the Janine of our Ghostbusters team. What you don't hear is when we walk in the door, he yells, "We got That's what you don't hear. Anyway, so Janine hasn't seen any of Outlander.
Not one.
So every once in a while, we're like, no, but seriously, you're going to love this one. We're sharing that Miller Lite.
Yes, we are. I already thought about it.
Okay, great. Yeah. So he hasn't seen any of it. So he just hears all of this stuff. And the whole time we've been like, no, but seriously, it seems like it's a show for chicks, but it's not. It's really not, because it's the best sex on television, because it lasts forever, because it's written for women. And there's just no boning. So our PSA is that we would just really like some more boning, please.
Could there please be more boning?
And like, we have seasons 3 and 4 now. If you haven't seen, Outlander got renewed for 2 seasons at once, which fucking never happens. So there are 2 more seasons coming, which means that there's going to be lots of sex.
Coming.
But there's not very much coming right now.
God damn it.
So more coming for the people who are coming to watch the show about coming.
Hashtag more coming.
Back in time. She came back in time, and she should come in the future as well.
Hey.
Yeah, and presently. She should come in the past, present, and future. Anyway, because Jamie's number 1 skill is bean flicking. It's going unused.
I know. This bean flicking skill is incredible and underutilized.
Yep. So, on that note, I'm an incredibly frustrated Allison Shoemaker.
I am an angry Julie Starbird.
I'm Janine.
That's Janine. Thanks for listening. We will be back next week, and hopefully it's just 60 minutes of doing it.
Jesus Christ, can I just be doing it?
Yep, it's going to be great. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.